Basix Farmers Market is basically a digital platform play where we are trying to bring in farmer collectives, like what was discussed some time back, onto the platform and help them access services. Typically, the rural, you can say the farming community has three main areas. One is from where do they get proper inputs and at a good price. The second is where do they gain access to markets when they have like harvested their crops. And the other one is capital, credit. So the platform tries to address these three important areas for the farming community, and the channel through which we do this is through farmer collectives. So I am some farmer collectives because there are government registered entities like farmer producer organizations or farm producer companies, but there are informal groups as well where probably a group of 10 to 15 farmers might be wanting to associate with you, but they're not like registered under the government, but they still want to do with you. So we are basically focusing on collectivizing of the farmers or the farming community on the platform and digitally trying to address the requirements. So,
for the sake of the audience, you are saying aggregation is central to this whole thing.
Correct.
Okay, correct. So that part of it. So whether it is in a formal, whether it is in a formal one, FPC are already taking place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. The aggregation is also important because, like I spoke about three things here. One is the input requirement. So when you are going to a particular, say, a company in the village, for example, if a farmer approaches a input shop for his seeds and fertilizers, and if he's going alone, his bargaining capacity reduces. But if you go as a collective with a larger order, right, the bargaining capacity increases. So typically when you are on a digital platform, you're able to kind of aggregate demand both on the input side as well as the output side and create a scale where you can bargain with market participants, no matter whether it's in the input side or no matter whether in the output side. The other benefit of a digital platform is, especially when we talk about the output side market, typically farmers or the farming community have access to only the mandi system, like the PNC mandi or probably some traders who are in the vicinity of the farming community. On a platform, it becomes much more easier for them to kind of gain access to probably institutional buyers, so something like an ITC or a Britannia, if you are talking about agri per se. For example, in Vidarbha, in Maharashtra today, you have the soybean season, soybean harvesting season coming in. So there will be larger plants like a Ruchi, like Patanjali has taken over Ruchi also. There will be a Patanjali plant which will be requiring a lot of produce, and they can get good quality produce and better quantity produce probably from farmer collectives, and the farmer collectives can bargain based on the kind of scale they can have, the collectivization they can make.
Yeah. What we will do is that we'll go to the second round now, which basically, maybe some of the challenges. So I'll start with you only. Do you see any differences in the states? For example, the experience in Maharashtra and the experience in Uttar Pradesh, or you are not operating right now in Bihar, right? No. Do you see any fundamental differences between states? Because regional, pressures or regional compulsions will often put a lot of pressure on your business model. Do you see that?
Yeah, it's a good question. So right now the Basix Farmers Market is present in 4 or 5 states, and we are in geographically diverse areas. We are in Maharashtra, we are in Uttar Pradesh, we are in Himachal Pradesh, a little bit of West Bengal, and we're just now starting in Assam and MP. So just take the example of Maharashtra and Himachal Pradesh. Now, when we talk about farmer collectives, most of the farmer collectives have been established or are doing well in primarily 2 states in India, Maharashtra and UP. Now, when we talk about markets like Himachal, where the concept is entirely new, like the concept of farmer collectives, and if you say, for example, the most important crop in Himachal is a horticulture crop, apple, right? Now, how does technology help them or help these farmer collectives to access larger markets in India? So when you go and talk to people or talk to farmers, orchard farmers in Himachal Pradesh, they will tell you that, sir, for the last 20 years, 30 years since I've been growing apples, I have only sold this apple to probably a trader in Delhi or maybe a trader in Hyderabad or a trader in Lucknow, and that is what the market is as of now. Whether your model will help me access markets beyond this, say for example Chennai or Gujarat or something like that, and that is what the technology helps them in facilitating them to larger markets and helping them to train the entire transaction right from the aggregation of demand to making the payments online, etc. All of this is happening. So definitely, so for example, in Maharashtra, the collectives have experience of working with technology companies, agri-tech companies. So there are companies like Dehat, there are companies like Farmart, and they have already kind of established relationship with these companies over the past 4 or 5 years. But when you compare it to Himachal, where the experience is completely new, maybe they have just done 1 season or 2 seasons with these companies. So there is always a trust deficit which is there. Like whether I get my payment immediately from associating with this agri company, or from place like Himachal. So
let me intervene over here. Yeah. Interesting. You see, you need to establish a triangle relationship. The customer, the seller, and he wants the money back. So now you're saying these tech companies are there, okay, and many of them, they have had a relation. So a place like Himachal, how do you establish this relationship?
Yeah, so again,
unless and until you restrict
trade model. So there is always an executive of the company allocated to the FPOs or the farmer collectives who goes and kind of meets the farmers on a regular basis, explaining them about the digital platform, explaining to them about why you should come on a digital play, etc. So this, the executive is a very important, we can say, connection with the farmers and the company. And that's the reason why the executives have to be trained regularly, like about how to speak to the farmers, whether he should be making promises that the company can kind of keep, etc. So conditioning the executive on a regular basis is very, very important in these kind of models.